okay. If you're watching this, thank you so much for joining me. This is the Creatives Checkup. My name is Alan C. Paul. This is where we go live every Friday, even on weeks while I am out of town. And we do at least one discussion or one topic that can help you build a better creative life from the inside out by applying timeless principles, as I could talk, to temporary creative problems. And so, if you're joining me for the first time and you're wondering, okay, what's up with what's on behind me? Well, I'm currently at Podfest. This is Podfest 2025, and it's a podcasting convention where people join from all over the world to talk about what helps them build their brands, their creative platforms, their podcasts, pretty much not just podcasting, but really every area of creative life, but especially those who are podcasters. So I got the chance to speak this time, and so this particular live will be talking about the things I've learned in the first 24 hours. We got here Wednesday about midnight, I'd say. So it's Friday as I'm recording 1 p.m. So we've been here about 36 hours or so. So it's right around that right time where I said, what have I learned in 24 hours since I've been here? Now, to be fair, this is not the first time I've been at Podfest. This is actually my fourth time speaking. It's probably my fifth or sixth event. So it's not the first time I've been on, or not the first time I've been at Podfest, but I'm definitely learning some new things. I'm definitely learning a lot that I did not realize I needed to apply to my life. And so I think this is going to be really good for both a kind of like a live update of what's going on, as well as being able to kind of keep the things going. Whoops, sorry about that. Try to make sure we keep our lives going so that we don't take a break just because I'm out of town. So it's good discipline for me to make sure that we still did this. So if you're watching on replay, make sure you let me know that you're watching on replay. Let me know the sound is good, because once again, I want to make sure everything is working fine. I'm checking over and over again just to make sure the mic is here. And you're going to hear a lot of background noise. But yeah, I'm in a hotel, so what can you say? And I figured it'd be better to come out of my hotel room and let you kind of see what's around us, since it's a live update. And again, if you're commenting or watching and you see any kind of jumpiness because the Wi-Fi is just not great, then feel free to let me know. But this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do our news and notes. We're going to talk about a new workshop that's coming up I'm very excited about that we're going to do. And then we're going to go into the Your Art, God's Heart Challenge, which we are now in I want to say the 8th day. We're on the 8th day of that challenge. Then we'll get right into the vital science, which is what I actually want to share on, which is what I've learned in 24 hours of doing Podfest. Then we're going to get into some networking tools. I'm going to get into some networking tools and let you know kind of the things that I'm using right now to stay connected with the people that I'm meeting. And as a creative, it's super important that you actually stay connected with the people that you're called to reach. And there's certain tools that can help you do that. And then we'll finally get into a consult. That's where we talk about what does God really want with your creative life. That's a deep topic. We got really into it with a video that I did previously. So I think that'll be very helpful for you. And finally, we'll get into prescriptions, things that you should do next. So I'm sitting here fooling with the microphone. I'm afraid it's going to fall. So hopefully it doesn't fall. And you guys see me trying to keep everything navigated on this tiny little table that I'm using. But like I said, I figured it'd be nicer to come out. It's a beautiful lobby here at the Renaissance Orlando SeaWorld. And I just figured this is a better backdrop. And hopefully, again, sound and everything. I'm checking even right now to see if the background is kind of crazy. And now I can hear it. So I can hear the hiss and stuff and the water nearby. But I hear myself pretty clear. So I think we're good. It's actually a really good sound. So I'm surprised. This is a nice little mic that we have here. So it picks up a lot, but it also picks me up pretty clean. So I think that's going to work out for us. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead to just a quick best year ever recap. We did this at the beginning of the year. This is a news and notes, something that, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of. Basically, everything we're doing this year is based on the best year ever. Trying to have your best year ever. So the first week in the first month is going to be spiritual alignment, and that's what we're talking about right now. The workshop's going to be on, and so that's what we started the year with. We're 12 days of talking about your best year ever. It was amazing. Love Jocelyn, Manuel, the rest of those that came in and enjoyed that. So that was how we started the year. And of course, as I'm always going to mention, the tools that we're using, we use all these tools to help us create this creative life and we get them all, we save them all at the recommended resources. Okay, so that's where we save all of the resources that you are hearing about that I share. That's where you can find them at guidegeeks.com/toolkit. Now, as for upcoming events, so this is what's important. Right now, we're currently in the middle of the Your Art, God's Heart Challenge. So that is ongoing, and you might say, oh, well, I missed it. Don't worry, you can still join. I'll share about that. Now, we already had our first mastermind meetup of the year. That was on the 13th. That was super cool. Currently, as you can see, I'm at Podfest, so that is happening right now. And then January 27th at 1 p.m., we will have our Your Art, His Assignment, How to Identify the Call of the Creative. That is coming up, and I'm super excited about that now. I wish I had the registration page for that. It's not quite ready yet, so give me a little while. I'll make sure to get that ready for you, okay? But it's not ready yet. I will give you the knowledge and the heads up when that is registration ready. And for those of you who are in Guiding Gigs 360, there is no charge. You automatically get to be a part of that, so you don't have to worry about that. But those of you who want to join, I'll make sure you get the registration link for that. As I just mentioned, Your Art God's Art Challenge is ongoing right now. So you might say, oh my gosh, I missed it. That's okay. Jump in, start reading. Maybe you want to read from day one. I'll give you all the different links to the rest of the days. And at the end, I can send you kind of like a summary of everything that we've done so far. So that way you won't feel like you're behind, all right? Or that you missed it entirely. But we are reading from January 10th to January 31st. So I got to catch up because I've been at the conference. And I'm kind of behind, so I got to make sure I catch up on that. So that's on me as well to make sure I keep up with the challenge. But you have to register at Your Art God's Heart Challenge. YAGH 2025, guideandgigs.com, YAGH 2025, so that you can attend our live event we're going to do on the 31st. We're going to have like a nice little kind of party. Maybe we'll do our creative checkup, but then after that, we're going to go and kind of just having a celebration virtually with all of you who finished the challenge. So I'd really love you to be a part of that, but you got to register or else I cannot send you the link to that. So I hope you will join me. All right, we got to the vital sides. Now, as again, you can see I'm right here in the middle of Podfest. I'm right surrounded by a bunch of people. Literally the entrance is right back here. Back there, somewhere back there is my room, and then there's an atrium. There's a lot of beautiful space. It's like a great place that they picked. And again, this is the 11th Podfest. And for those of you who are not podcasters, you might already be saying, okay, why do I need to know about a podcasting convention or conference? Why is that important? Why is it important that I know what you learned from a podcast convention? Well, let me explain really, first of all, and it kind of goes with one of the first things I learned. This is more than a conference, and every conference is more about what you put into it than what you supposedly are going to get from it. Because as a live event, you can go to any live event and you can kind of be, just overrun by all the scheduling and everything you have to go to. You can feel like, okay, I just have to be here for work. Or you can say you're going to get something out of it. And what's really, really important to me is that I give more than I take from this conference. And I can tell you honestly, for the first 24 hours, 5 days, it's only 3 days. For the first 24 hours, I absolutely have been seeing how I am just being more and more aware that it's not about trying to get something from me, it's about giving something to the organization and the people that are around me. So it kind of goes into the first lesson of something I've learned. Okay? So the second thing I might want to tell you is what I really have learned in the last 24 hours is the power of these relationships. So for the last I'd say the last 5 years, really since the first time I did Podfest back in 2020, the relationships that I've built here have become stronger and stronger to the point that this really feels more like a family reunion than a conference that I'm working at. And so what I really want you to kind of get out of this is that it's not about what you can get out of it, as I mentioned that earlier, but also the relationships that are being built. And so what I don't want to sound like is, oh, well, just show up and like wander around and things happen. But that's kind of the way it's been for the past 24 hours. I have just been blown away by how many connections I've made, not even trying, not even trying to show up and, find this person or find that person or network with this person. The people I need to meet keep showing up, and obviously I think that's a God thing. That is really a God thing right there. So I would love, to know from you guys, even if you're watching a replay, what are some, if, and what's what I'm looking for, what are some instances where you've either been in a live event or a networking thing where you have seen the power of these relationships that transcend this event itself, and it ends up blessing your creative life beyond that? Because that's what's happened with me. Now, as I mentioned, I got to speak here at Podfest yesterday. It was my time to speak, and I got to do a 30-minute presentation. And so that 30-minute presentation, let me tell you, it's still kind of sinking in that this was the biggest crowd, I guess you could say, I've ever had to actually watch one of my shows or watch one of my events or see me speak. Having almost 100 people who signed up for my seminar, for my presentation, it's mind blowing. Like, it's mind blowing that people were literally turned away because there was no room inside that place. And so, if you want to know what were they coming to talk about, what they came to talk about or hear, was me talking about video and audio. So basically, what I'm doing really right now, like going live or doing a podcast and using video and audio, and how do I do that easily? Well, you can kind of see now that I stepped out and I'm doing this outside, that I kind of threw a lot of the audio perfection out the window. It's like, you know what? Yeah, you're going to hear the people walking by, you hear the music and everything. It's like, but you know what? It's a lot more like what's really happening. So I wanted you to have like a moment to kind of feel like you were here. And so what I feel like that kind of shows is, number one, I'm authentic in what I shared, and that kind of speech and delivery I gave was not from a place of an expert that has 1 billion followers and Mr. Beast level kind of training in terms of how to make videos. I was sharing how I do this day to day, week to week as a non-video person, and I guess that kind of resonated with people, so they were really open to showing up, asking questions. And I'm actually going to be doing another meetup here. If you're here at Podfest, I'm going to be doing this at 4:30 Eastern right here in this very area. I don't want to turn the camera around because I don't want to get mixed up, but like literally to my left is where I'm going to be meeting with more people who want to join in and find out how do we do what we do. By the way, those of you who are watching later and I didn't email you, I apologize. Even right now I'm listening, I'm thinking like, oh man, I didn't email anybody. But it's a lot going on. So hopefully you got the notification through YouTube or something like that this was available. So I've learned the power of relationships. I've learned the power of being authentic. I've learned the power of really settling in and just saying, okay, how can I be most present in this space? And it's not going to every single seminar. If you've ever been to a conference and you felt like you had to go to every single seminar, every single event, there were many times that I was like, I wish I could split myself into 3 and I could be in all these different places at one time, but I can't. So what I did instead was I really focused on being present where I was. So that was maybe at a party yesterday where people were kind of talking and milling around, and I'm like, I feel like I just want to leave. But no, I stayed, and you like pay attention, and if there's one person that you can talk to, it makes all the difference, because that person is somebody you can encourage, that becomes a deep conversation, it becomes a lot of fun, you get to know people. And all of my introverts out there, I get it. All of your introverts, I get that you're not really a fan of peopling, right? My wife is here with me. She is not a fan, but she finds her spot. She gets in and gets out, and she still keeps her energy together, and that is where she gets to be herself. She gets to really energize herself through being a part of these relationships. And I know being next to her, it's invigorating for both of us. So I've learned that we got to be really, really, really comfortable with each other. It's a little marriage tip there. I'm okay leaving her when she's not interested in being in a certain seminar. This is not a date night thing. Like, this is work. I'm here representing 3 or 4 different podcasts and helping them to get more exposure and learning more from other people. That's how I'm doing this. So there's a couple of things I've learned, right? learn the power of relationships, learn that being authentic in people. And by the way, here's something else I've learned. First 24 hours taught me you gotta follow up, and it goes down. Sounds weird to say this, and I'm not saying this in a sexual manner. Relax, but it does go down to the DMs. One thing I realized is I have not utilized direct messages enough, because when I opened up our app that we have here at this conference, and I saw the ability that I have to connect with so many of these attendees directly through direct message, and I hadn't done it that much, and I kind of like shied away from it. And now I was like, you know what? I'm missing out on a lot of relationships because I have not been going live, or I have not been going, I should say, I have been going directly into the DMs and sharing with these people. And it's been kind of like, oh, I just hopefully I run into them. But no, I got to be intentional. I got to actually press the button. I have to follow through. And as I follow through and follow up with people, I've seen so many more relationships growing. So there's another thing I've learned in the past 24 hours is that follow up is key. Follow up is so much key. So good to see you, Pamela. Get to see you hanging out with me here in Orlando. I definitely wanted to do this again. Like, I thought about doing this in the hotel room, and I know it might be noisy, but at least you get a chance to kind of see what's actually happening in the area that we're in. I just wanted to be a little more like, I could have gone live actually in the hallway, but I thought that'd be a little too noisy. I thought this was a little more expansive and I'd be able to share more with you. So, so let me know how you're doing as well. And let me know if the audio and the video is working okay, because again, we're on hotel Wi-Fi. There's no telling whether what I'm watching is what you're getting. I hope it's not grainy or pixelated or anything like that. So let me know how the tech is working, because I want to make sure that we're straight. But so far, it looks like we've been doing pretty good out in this little mobile situation. Somebody actually came by and said, nice microphone, right? So I guess they like my setup. So that was really cool. Let me see here. Oh, there's Kyle. Good to see you, Kyle. And I didn't know we had people. The hallway track taught me more at Podfest than most of the talks I attended. By the way, so happy your talk went well. Congrats. Wish I was there this year. Wow, that's right. Okay, I got you now. That's hilarious. I thought you were here. I was going to say, oh, I'm going to find you. Thank you so much for that, Kyle. And yes, you know what? That's exactly what we need to call it, the hallway track. The hallway track is exactly what's happening. I've met so many people. Matter of fact, I think that should be like, maybe it should be in the next Podfest. They should actually say that. It's the hallway track. Oh, great, Pamela. Thank you so much. This is crazy. Like, I really wasn't sure if it was going to work. I told my wife, I walked by and I was like, okay, here we go. Like, this could drop any moment. We got a billion devices down here, but I figured that this was a good spot to kind of like, I'm really right by the wall, so I'm kind of a little bit insulated because there's no sound on the other side. So I'm kind of created my half little studio here. And and then this mic is really crazy that this is like the cheapest mic, y'all. I don't understand. Like, I don't know why this mic has become like my favorite thing, but Leah knows her mics because she bought this for me years ago, and I've never changed it, and it's always been there for me. It's like worked out perfect. All right, so yeah, Kyle, I agree. The hallway track is a perfect way to put showing up at conferences like this. By the way, Pamela, I'd be curious if you have gone to any workshops or things like that. So yeah, I'm going through these lessons because honestly, it's going on in our 48th hour, and I'm still learning these lessons: networking, following up with people, getting into the direct messages, and like actually following up and saying, "Can I help you more?" One young lady I just saw that I've met 2 times, and I saw her and I was like, "Hey, you gave me that thing last time, right? Like, how is that going? Like, how is it really going?" Because I feel like what we do is, unfortunately, in a lot of conference situations, we do kind of like the what's it called, like not machine gun, but we just like flyer everywhere. Just how many people can I meet? And it's like, no. I had to learn more that the depth of the relationship matters more than the amount of relationships, right? So that is really what I am trying to do this year. I'm really trying to focus, like Kyle said, on the hallway track. When I get into a conversation, I'm not darting out of the conversation, and just really focusing on how can I help the person that's right in front of me. By the way, I did the same thing with my talk. I had to make sure What's going to help people with this talk? What lead magnet that I share afterward will really help people? How can I deliver value to the point that they remember me? And so that's what I try to do in my talk and everything. Try to do is as value driven and value packed as possible, so that nobody felt like, oh, if I don't buy his thing, I didn't get anything. Like, no, 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 no. I gave you as much as I could for free. By the way, if you're watching this and you want the slides or you want that, just let me know. You can go to alancpaul.com/podfest and you can still get that stuff, okay? So I do want to keep it moving because we have a great, great, great set of other things I'd love to share. But that's what I've learned in the past 24 hours is the networking, it's the state of DMs, it's to be present. Don't focus on trying to be at everything. Oh, Pamela says, no, you haven't attended such events yet, but would love to. I would highly recommend. A matter of fact, I may do this in Guiding Gigs 360. Again, this is where it's like a smorgasbord of information for those who are in the membership. And it just makes it so much easier when I can share it in one place. So hopefully you can go check out the membership. If you haven't already, all you have to do is go to guidinggigs.com/membership and you can join Pamela. You can join her, you can join Charmaine, you can join Simony, you can join Sam, Samantha, you can join a lot of other folks. I'm forgetting his name. I said Jason. It's not Jason. It popped out of my head. Pastor Fury. Can't remember Pastor Fury's name, but Pastor Fury's up in there. Mitchell is up in there. And then, of course, there's Guiding Gig 360 Gold, which is our mastermind kind of community level or accountability level where we check up on you each week and twice a week through Zoom calls, and that is super powerful, and that's where people are getting the most kind of growth out of this. So guidinggigs.com/membership. I would love for you to join us there. So as I was just saying, now we're going to move on to networking tools and strategies, because that kind of goes along with what I'm talking about right now. So here are some things that I am doing at this conference to help me stay focused and stay connecting with people. And one of them is right here. Let me slide this over so I'm trying to hold it so it doesn't fall. But one of them obviously is this, right? Your cell phone. So here's one of the things that I do on my cell phone that has been super helpful. I got this honestly from our church, but I don't know if some of you guys don't know this hack. But as I'm meeting people, I'm taking selfies, right? And so I'm trying to remember their name and their face. And you know how, like, you meet a million people and you can't really remember them. Well, what I've been doing is, say if I have a picture here, me and my friend Nathan here, and how do I remember that's Nathan? Well, you go down here if you're using an iPhone, and you hit the I, and it pulls up. So I can get you guys to actually see this. Might be trying to trick you to see. Let's see if I can turn it down. You can see it. Oh. Yeah, so you see right there, you can see that it pulls down that dialogue, right? And so after it pulls down that dialogue, you can actually write in a caption that tells you who that is. All right? So if you're meeting people quickly and you can't remember who it is, you may not have their whole name, you may only remember a bit, but if you take a picture and then quickly write in the caption who it is, then when they come out later, you're not like fishing, oh my gosh, who they? You kind of review this and go back, hey, didn't I take a picture with you? And you can go check out their name so you don't feel like you're forgetting people. Now, another hack that kind of goes along with the cell phone thing is how I am using my contacts to then follow up with people. And so one of the things, again, going to your contacts is you can go into your contacts and actually say, I met this person here, met this person here, and put that actually in. Some people do this a lot. I've seen a lot of people do this. You put where you met them in their contact information. So as you put their info in their contact information and you know, hey, I met them at the bar, blah, 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 you can actually say to them, hey, thanks so much for, so glad you reached out. I remember the last time we talked at the blah, 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 right? So that is another way that you can use this technology to be more and more intentional for people so they know that they were seen, they were heard, they were acknowledged. That's a huge deal when it comes to making sure that you're making connections that will make a difference in your creative career. Now, let's talk about a few apps. that you can use. Now, I have not made use of this as much as possible, but Clay is another app that's hugely effective for networking. And let me explain why. Because if you see here, Clay does, it kind of gives you like people that you've met and brings it up. Let's go full screen so you guys can see this. So you go into this, and what it does is it will allow you to kind of, number one, connect your LinkedIn, your personal profiles, and your personal, as in your personal contact book. And I think it also does Facebook, and it brings them in. Now, I'm not using it for Facebook because I don't want to have all that Facebook people that I don't actually talk to, but I am using it in my personal account and LinkedIn also with my text. So it's clay.earth, by the way, and it's, I don't know. I think it's at godagates.com/toolkit. I'm pretty sure it's there. Somebody go there and check it and make sure it's still there. I'm pretty sure I left it there. I'm just not sure for now. Okay, so what Clay does is that's really cool is that it then reminds you randomly to reach out to certain people. So what I'm going to do is after I leave Podfest is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make a Podfest 2025 list. I'm going to put all the people that I met in Podfest, I'm going to connect them to that list. But what the Clay will do then is every once in a while it will pull up random people. I may not talk to these people for a couple of months. So after that, it's been a long day. So after that, I will go and follow through with the people that connected with me, because Clay is bringing up their information randomly, but also very specifically at a certain like cadence so that I can actually reconnect with those people. And once again, you can find this app at Toolkit. It is free at a certain level. And then you can also get the $20, I think it's $20 a month, that you can get the subscription. But I use the free version right now. And so it's an extremely effective tool. So I'm following up with people when you've forgotten when you met them or how you met them. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my phone right now. I see somebody that I need to reach out to. So I'm going to update their information, and they're going to reach out because I have their info right here. And like I said, it's so much better than just having a contact list when you don't actually reach out to those people. Okay? So that's two strategies. I would say a third strategy is kind of like the social media thing, but it is super cool to shout out people and to share their picture with the world and say, hey, I'm so glad I met so-and-so. Matter of fact, I saw someone doing this way beyond my own capacity. I think it's Shine Like Natasha or Shine with Natasha. But LaShonda sent me this profile because I just heard her speak. And she is a rock star when it comes to how to let people see through your life during the build up to certain things. She showed them getting ready. She showed them getting ready with their outfit. She showed them getting ready with their notes. So everything was getting ready for this talk. She qualified it and collected it and curated it as content, which is super cool, something I never thought of doing. But what I think is even cooler is that her follow-up is just as detailed. So Natasha, if you're listening, we hope you continue this and teach us this, because this is really, really, really good. I was really inspired by this. You did left no stone unturned. You attended the workshop, then you signed up for her stuff, you got the email. And after you get the email, she would say, hey, here's another thing, and here's the slides I got. And so it was super put together, and I feel like my stuff was not as put together. But that's, again, the power of networking and tagging people and being really, really together. Because, like I said, LaShonda sent me this video. I was like, oh, I think I know that lady. So right there from social media, I immediately figured out that that's the same person I saw. Now I saw where her account is. I'm already getting her newsletter stuff. So it's just really, really put together. I think I need to do better about putting my stuff together so I'm not behind the 8 ball when it comes to making sure I'm connecting after events like this. All right. I hope that makes sense. If it makes sense, just give me a thumbs up either in the chat or give me a thumbs up in the what's it called? The comments, right. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. Yes, give me a thumbs up in the comments if that made sense in terms of ways to network. Remember, a lot of these tools for networking digitally are at guideandguests.com/toolkit. You can also use your message boards, your aggregators, things so that messages all come to the same place so you're not going to 5 different apps. There's lots of different ways to do this, okay? But the important thing is to make sure that you're using these tools to network effectively. Nice, Kyle. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for staying in with us. I am so glad we have some LinkedIn people, by the way. I've been going live on LinkedIn for like the last, I think since 2025. I was like, okay, no more Instagram. Let's do this on LinkedIn. And I'm glad that, Kyle, you're proving that if I stick with LinkedIn, LinkedIn will respond, because I do not get that kind of response usually from Instagram. Usually it's really, really slim pickings in Instagram, people who are like, sometimes my friends will drop in, but mostly it was like, yeah, this is not really connecting, and that screen is so small that it really doesn't, it's not conducive to this kind of this kind of atmosphere, this kind of thing. So, all right, you gotta keep it moving. I love what's going on so far. This has been very helpful for me. All right, why can't I get, oh, there we go. Let's go back to there. So, networking strategies and tools we just talked about. Now, let's do the consult. And this consult was super vulnerable for me. And the reason it was vulnerable is because I was really sharing from my heart the fact that sometimes I feel like I am trying to earn God's approval. Like the way I do things, it has to be a certain way, and God doesn't like me if it's not perfect. And so I felt like God really wanted this kind of perfection that I was not being asked for, but I thought it was supposed to be that way. And so, at the beginning of the year, what I shared was a video of me totally different from anything else I've shared. Like, this is definitely different too, but this was even more different. What I did was I went ahead and went to exercise, and as soon as I finished exercising, without doing all the cleanup or whatever, I was just like, all right, people got to see who I really am. So I went live right away, or not went live, yeah, I recorded a video right away, right there in my garage, and I shared it. And it's like, this is what creatives really, what God really wants creatives to learn or know. And it was not how many followers you have, not how many songs you wrote, not how many Grammys you got, not how many performances you done. It was all about, he wants your heart, he wants authenticity. That's what he wants. So when you're in a profession that literally is 90% of the time you are acting in a way, you're doing something different that maybe you wouldn't do. How do you stay authentic? And I think it comes down to being humble and admitting you don't have all the answers. But I would love to know from you, before I answer that, what does God really want from creatives? Does he want more skill? Does he want, things that we just talked about, these songs? Let me get rid of that toolkit. It's kind of throwing me off. All right. Does he want performance? Does he want relationship? Does he want us to be authentic? Does he want us to be faithful with our money? Is it all 5? Is it all 6? Is it everything? Especially from creatives. This is what the question is about. So I will let this marinate for a little while because we have some time. What do you think God really wants from your creative career? Because once you answer that, it gets so much easier to actually implement it and to do it once you know what he wants. But I'm thinking of Micah, I think it's 6 and 8, that he has told you what he wants is to love justice, to do mercy, and to walk humbly. Okay? To seek justice, to love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And so that's all he says he wants. That's all he says he wants. And sometimes I think as creators, we think that there's more. Like, again, I know we're supposed to do everything with the spirit of excellence, but maybe we've overshadowed the fact that he loves us just the way we are, and we keep adding on to that list of things we think that we need, and I don't see it. I don't see it in the Bible. I think it leads to condemnation. It leads to comparison, thinking that God wants more. And again, I'm not saying not to give God your best in terms of all the different things you do, but I know when I did that video, I felt relief saying I don't have to make it perfect. I can just release it out to the world. Let's be what it be. Let my messy garage be my messy garage. Just let that happen. Let's see what Pamela says here. Pamela says, I would say he wants us to feel his purpose for our lives with the gifts he's given us. I think about the men with the talents and how most used theirs, but one didn't. Yep. I would say that too. That is clearly a mandate that God has put on to us to fulfill his purpose. And I think we're going to talk about that in our conference, in our workshop with Marlita Hill that I was just alluding to. Um, I think on the 27th or the 28th. Let's see, make sure what day that is. But I keep going back and forth. Not the camera. Let's find the date. Oh gosh, I just closed it. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out my phone. And I can't even figure out what date it is. And I got a million apps to close. Y'all know when you open up all the apps and you gotta close them all? That's me. So much going on here. So the date is going to be... I lost the calendar again. What is going on? So simple. 28th. So I gotta change that date over there. It's not the 27th, it's the 28th. It's a Tuesday. But we're gonna be talking about alignment. We're gonna be talking about making sure that we are aligned with God's purpose. And does that always mean he tells us exactly what to do every step? No, I don't think so. But you're right about the man with the 5 that made it 10, the one that had 2 and made it 4. The one that was punished was the one that didn't do anything. So is it possible that God is really pushing us to be more confident of the gifts he's given us? Not only more confident, but more willing to share them, because I think we may have the gifts, but we don't share it and we don't risk getting knocked down. We're not really being faithful. We're not really giving God our best, because we want to control our best and make sure our best is always in front of the people we want to be part of. And when God wants more vulnerability, that's not what we want to share. So I think about the men or the talents. Yeah, exactly. So I just want to say, I agree with you, Pamela, that it is about your purpose. But I would say also it is about knowing your heart in the purpose, because he wants us before he wants what we can do. Okay? I love, let's see, Kyle. Let me get you, pull you up. Kyle says he wants us to be builders. I think he wants us to act in our own best interest, because he cannot reward you if you do nothing. You cannot pick your lottery numbers if you never buy a ticket. I am so grateful for that. That's such a great phrase. You know what I thought of, Kyle, when you say that? That Jesus was a contractor. As a matter of fact, my friend Solange, who's here right now, she's our crazy, great administrative assistant type content creator who goes to our church, and she's helping with our 2 podcasts at Metro Podcast Network. And so we were talking about this, and she said, and I said as well, that it's amazing that when God wanted to reveal himself, he picked a bunch of creatives. He picked a bunch of builders. He picked a bunch of people who had to make things. He told them how to make things. But literally, he had the first time the Spirit of God is mentioned, the way the Spirit of God is mentioned in terms of like a force of nature, a force of the Spirit that actually comes on someone and gives them like wisdom and insight. The first time that's mentioned is Bezalel. And Bezalel was a creative, or was made a creative by name by God, who said, I will put on him all the spirit of excellence and ability to create all these things. So the first time the Holy Spirit was mentioned was actually in a situation where a creative was needed to build something. So that builder's word is huge. Think of all the different other words that God refers to. Cornerstone, right? Refers to Jesus Christ being the first cornerstone. And Jesus himself was a builder, was a contractor. So there's so many areas here where you can see that being the case. And I think I love the other part you said, Kyle, is that he doesn't want us to do nothing. Why do we sit back sometimes and assume that God's going to reward us for inaction? When God says to wait, then wait. But when God says to move, we have to move. And I think so many of us got used to the waiting part and thinking that was more spiritual, just to wait versus to actually step out and do something and make it a step. Actually, I agree, Pamela. This is 100% true. I love that. I love that. I hope you're referring to Kyle. I don't know if I was saying you were saying so true. I was thinking you were referring to Kyle. All right. So time is going pretty quick, guys. I'm just it's 1:45 and it's already only 15 minutes left. And we got through the consult. We got through things. So I want to spend some time though making sure I talk about what's coming up, because I haven't really explained it. I'm going to take these off. It's a little bit weird not being able to hear what's going on around me. But I love you guys sharing in the console. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching on replay. Make sure you let me know that you're watching a replay, and please respond to these questions as well, okay? So let me know that you heard this and that you were paying attention and that this message resonated with you. So please let me know in the comments if you watched on replay by saying replay, okay? All right. So finally, last 15 minutes as we round the end. Here are the prescriptions. Of course, always I'm going to ask you to follow the podcast, godandgifts.com/podcast. But then, secondly, and as soon as I took these off, I realized I need to keep them on because of a different conversation. So go ahead and follow at godandgifts.com/podcast or podcast. Gotta be careful. I'm at Podfest, but we're talking about podcasting. Also, big thing, please register for the YAGA's challenge even if you missed the first few days. And once again, it's because I want to meet you guys virtually for the party at the end of the month. So, a lot of my friends right now, what they're doing the Bible shred. If you've never heard of the Bible shred is when you read the entire Bible in like an insanely small time. Like when you read the Bible in just 30 minutes, 30 minutes a day maybe, but you read the Bible in 30 days. So several of my friends are doing the shred. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I want to do it. But they're all telling me how amazing it is. Okay? So the reason I mention that is that you could possibly just go ahead and do a shred of the Your Art God's Heart Challenge. If you missed the first few days, just jump in and do the first 4 days, the first 5 days, do 5. Then it's so short that you can catch up really with no problem at all. Like, it's not going to take you long to catch up. So you might want to say, I just want to read it one day at a time. But I understand. But if you want to catch up with the challenge, I think we're we started on the 10th. So we're almost to day 7. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is day 7 or day 8. I get a little mixed up. So go ahead and join at Your Art God's Heart. I'm sorry. Yeah. godandgifts.com/YAGH, which stands for Your Art God's Heart 2025. Go ahead and sign up, even if you didn't get there at the beginning. You're going to enjoy it. I've had so many great comments, of which I could pull up one of the comments I got just the other day. I might be able to, but if I can get to it. But yeah, I'll get to that later. I'll show you that comment. But people have been really enjoying the devotional. I would love for you to enjoy it as well. And that segues right to upcoming spiritual alignment workshop, which is our talk with Anita Hill, which will be on January 28th, not 27th. Now, here's the thing. I still have not finished the landing page for the specific workshop. But if you don't know who Marlita Hill is, let's find out what what episode she was on. She's been on the podcast, one of our most impactful episodes. I'm telling you, all the reels from this episode went viral, like all of them. It was amazing what she was sharing. And so, oh my gosh, I'm getting breaking news, you guys. This is 13 minutes ago. I'm doing breaking news right now. So apparently the U.S. Supreme Court has upheld the ban on TikTok. So TikTok is going away, you guys. Brock Johnson just did this. I'm literally alive, and this just got nailed. Just got announced. So, wow. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know that was going to happen, but I just opened up the phone for just something else, just to, now I'm all distracted because like that was interesting. So, that's why I was going to find where Marlita's episode was. That was weird. I was like, oh my gosh, my brain just disappeared because I didn't know that they were going to announce a TikTok ban situation, but they just did. So that's crazy. I'd love to know what you guys think about that, about the TikTok actually going away. Maybe you're now on TikTok and it doesn't affect you. But I want to find what episode Marlita is on. So I'm going to go to godandgeeks.com. I'm just going to do the regular one. And let's put in Marlita. Something else I've never tried to do is I've never tried to do a screen share of my screen as I'm typing. Not sure how to do that. And maybe someone knows how to do that. She's episode 148. So godofgeeks.com/148. You'll see about Marlita. Here she is. Here you can see my screen. So Marlita is amazing. Such an amazing believer and creative. And so we're going to meet together on the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not a part of God Gigs 360, we're going to ask that you buy a ticket to that because her time is valuable. So it's going to be a $10 ticket, just $10 to attend if you're not a member of 360 Gold. Okay, 360 Gold members get in automatically. I haven't yet decided about 360 members because that technically is another plan that allows you to get to all the workshops. So if you're just a member, I think you do still need to get the ticket. But if you are in our $10 a month resource center, you will not have to buy a ticket because that is part of your subscriptions. Okay, so these different ways to go. The fact is that you want to go here and see Marlita Hill. We're going to talk so much about the things that we just talked about being dedicated, being committed to your calling. How do you know when God is calling you? That's going to be the big, basically like the focus of the conversation. How do you know when God is calling you? How can you be sure that this is something that God wants you to do as a creative? How many times have we been like, well, show me the sign, be so, and sometimes he doesn't show you a sign. So what do you do then? So we're going to be talking about how to be sure of your creative calling in terms of your spiritual Christian outlook on life. So that's going to be, again, on the 28th. I wanted to finish the page. I couldn't finish the page in time. I tried to, just couldn't finish it in time. So I ended up like, let me just announce it so that you guys save the date. And after you save the date, go ahead and as soon as I send that, so that's why I put godagates.com/info. If you go to godagates.com/info, you can sign up for our newsletter, already be on the newsletter, and then I can send you the information on the workshop. It will not be on YouTube. It will not be on YouTube. It will not be on any of these other streaming platforms that's outside of God and Gigs 360 Gold. It will probably be a webinar. I might set it up on StreamYard tonight, but it will not be based on YouTube or anything like that. We'll make this exclusive for those of you who want to actually be there. And again, we might put it inside the app just to make sure that everybody inside the app gets a chance to see it. But once again, nominal fee for those who are not a member of 360. You can become a member 360 and get free access, 360 Gold, get free access by going to godandgigs.com/membership. Don't forget that. Let's find it. Why can't I find it? I just had it. And it disappeared. There it is. No. My eyes are not working, y'all. Why am I so blind? There we go. I couldn't even move my mouse. There we go. godandgigs.com/membership. That is how you join us so that you can find the option that lets you get the cheapest way to get into this without having to spend money on the front end because you'll already be getting all the value all year round. That's really what I'm hoping for, okay? That you guys get value from Marlita speaking. And I don't know if I even read her bio. I probably should read a little bit of her bio so you guys know. If you don't have it found, godandgigs.com/148 yet. Let me just tell you a little bit more about Marlita as I pull up her information. So, Marlita has served God as a choreographer and dance instructor in the church and marketplace for over 20 years. Her work includes providing master classes, residencies for college, leading worships, and mentoring artists international. She started dancing at age 15 with the Hush Company under the direction of Stacy and LaQuinn Meadows, where she served for 8 years, choreographer and eventually assistant director. And she taught, I was going to say no, she didn't teach kindergarten, but she was certified K through 12 in Townsend County, Maryland. And then she co-founded the Ramon D. Cortez School for the Visual Performing Arts in downtown Los Angeles. So much goodness there. She knows what she's talking about. Okay, so this is Marlita once again. Marlita Hill, and you need to sign up at godandgigs.com/info because I'm going to finish that webpage as soon as I can. Okay, as soon as I finish the registration link, you guys can sign up, but at least save the date. Save the date for January 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern, so that you can join us. All right, my friends, that was technically the entire creative checkup. As you can hear, I've got a lot of other things to get to, so I'm probably going to end a little bit before, unless there's other questions. But oh, I was going to ask this question or answer this question if you asked. Some people I think might want to see or hear my discussion at Podfest. You can get replays or recordings of it. You're going to have to go to podfestexpo.com and see how to do that. I need to get the recordings myself, so I'm probably going to be ordering the recordings for some of these sessions that I want to go to, but I can't see. But I really, really hope that more of you will check out Podfest next year. There's also going to be a virtual version of it. So, Kyle, I hope we see you next time, man. Pamela, it would be awesome if you were able to join us. You would learn so much from the place that you're at. There's so many entrepreneurs here, so many coaches. Like, everyone is just on the same wavelength. We're all joining together and talking business and life and creative life and how to build things that last and that preach a message and teach a message in so many walks of life, but everybody's connected as podcasters and content creators. Nobody's here with any egos. I just walked up to the keynote speaker who's going to be speaking tonight, or not tonight, tomorrow night, and just shook his hand. Like, nobody's like being guarded by bodyguards or any of that stuff. It's one of the most gracious and most open communities I've ever been a part of. That's why I've rocked for them. Matter of fact, this year I'm pushing myself to go to another conference outside of Podfest, just because I know this is not normal, and I kind of need to see what other conferences do. Because if I don't go to another conference, I'll think this is normal, and I need to see what else is going on outside of Podfest. Kyle says you're looking forward to 26. Yeah, man. Hopefully it will still be in this hotel, because this has been the nicest experience. The only thing that this hotel has like kind of like a downside, but it's Orlando, which is everywhere, which is just like how super expensive everything is. The food is. So I just turned down an $8 cup of coffee. I'm like, I'll find coffee somewhere free. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing the $8 coffee. So I was like, I set my foot. I'm not doing the $8 coffee. But everything else, like, as you know, I'm going to the Podfest Hall of Fame tonight. Chris Kremitos, who is the CEO, the person that founded Podfest, he's going to be entered today into the Podcasting Hall of Fame. I am so stoked and excited and proud of him. So it's going to be cool to hang out with all those guys. Dave Jackson is here, leader of Podpage. He's been a podcasting legend. I got to meet Gary Alt, who's a host of Everything Everywhere Daily. It's one of my favorite history podcasts in the world. That is exactly like, the kind of thing I wanted to do when I was here. Exactly. Black Rifle Coffee Company. I love it. Exactly, bro. And that, by the way, that's one of the coffees I need to get picked up. I have not ever gotten Black Rifle coffee, but I heard a lot of good things about it. My pastor loves it. So 100%, I'm going to be checking that out. Yeah, this is an awesome experience, Pamela. I really am, like, I feel full. I'm blessed. I will talk more about my actual talk. And in the mastermind, I'll make sure to share that in the mastermind, like how I eventually got positioned to do a talk like that. Why? Like my first one, and it's funny, somebody told me this and I didn't think about this. I'm glad you're bringing this up, reminding me. My first talk live at Podfest, I was a speaker and I was like, so nervous. And so there was about, I'd say 20, 30 people in there, which was really good, but I was in a huge room and I felt like there was nobody there. But I was in like one of the main conference rooms that was tremendously huge. And so I think what I've learned that, again, don't pick everything on face value. Like, there were a lot of people that could have followed up with it. I almost felt like it was a failure because there wasn't like a bunch of attendees. This time there was a ton of attendees, but I didn't follow up with them right away. I was like, I guess it's over. Like, no, it's not over. I need to stay connected with these people. So that was 100%, again, the lesson about the follow-up. It's something I learned this time for sure. Let me see here. Tao says, tell Chris, congratulations from me. I will, man. If I get a chance, it's going to be mobbed. I'm sure there's going to be a billion people around him because everybody at Podfest is like so proud. I think Dave Jackson is going to actually, I guess, what do they call it? Present him or, inaugurate him or whatever that is. But yeah, it's going to be super cool to see him finally get the recognition he deserves after he's recognized us for years and years and years. But yeah, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and take off because, like I said, I think I have another session coming up. So many things to do. I'm going to find myself that non-$8 coffee if I can. And then we're going to meet some more people. We're going to connect with more people, and I'll bring some more lessons of what I learned in 48 hours. But Kyle, thank you for joining us. Pamela, thank you for joining us. And then anybody that is watching on live and did not comment, or you are watching on replay, you are a part of this conversation. Number one, please like this video, subscribe to this channel. It's how we share real help for creatives and entrepreneurs who want to build better lives from the inside out. That's how we do it. If you do not share, we can't find more people. And so the word of mouth, all of that is 100% effective in terms of spreading this message so we can help more people. So even if you didn't catch it live, because I didn't send an email, again, I said, you know what, we're gonna go live. I'm gonna push through and do it even though it's not comfortable. But of course, I didn't send out all my emails like I usually do, because I sit down and I make sure all the emails go out, and then right at 1 o'clock, everybody gets the email. So you might be learning about this and say, oh my gosh, you went live, I missed it. Please comment, please like, please share. That helps just as much to help us share the message that God is trying to give creatives, to make them more confident, to make them more centered, to make them more balanced, so that they can go out there and be the creators that God created them to be. Thank you, Kyle. Take care, and God bless you as well. Can't wait to see you next time that you will be here, hopefully in the next year. That will be amazing to come back. And everybody else, Pamela, thank you for joining us. And remember, those who watched on replay, just comment replay. Let me know you saw this so that we can continue to share all this goodness from both Podfest and everywhere else that God engages us sharing. So, God bless. Until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. We'll see you next week, Friday, from our normal place and normal time, but we'll still be sharing the same kind of great content with you. God bless. See you next time, guys.